And it's funny because the last person who made this argument to me of infinite regression was a Jew. It was Ben Shapiro. I watched one of his videos and he was arguing against infinite regression.
You've accepted on balance of probability that it is more likely that the universe came into existence. That was your words.
The fact that the creation exists necessitates that we cannot have an infinite chain of events going in the past.
You're not listening. Every time I say something, you're challenging it. So I'll say it again to you. I believe the cause of the universe has to be a conscious cause. Yeah? So this is like a full circle. Right. We believe in a creator. You believe in a creator. Is that correct or not?
No.
You don't believe in a creator?
Belief means an absolute.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
We just said it's not.
All right.
No, it
there are
doesn't.
different definitions to the word faith. There can be faith that I believe in my abilities because I have proof
faith,
of my abilities.
No,
faith has many different
listen,
definitions.
Pavlov,
Yeah.
faith and belief mean the same thing.
They do mean the same thing.
They do mean the same thing.
Don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes.
So you just use
And they have different definitions. There are different ways of perceiving the word faith. It can be you seeing things happen in the world and saying, I believe that in this test that I made yesterday, I will have a good grade.
Pavlov, what we have to do, you have to, when we establish a principle, we apply that principle to everything we do. Yeah? Right? That's what we do. So we make a principle.
Pavlov, why don't you come over this side? Brother, if you don't mind, you can go on that side.
Sure.
Right. What it is, you see, we create a principle, and we agree a principle, and then we apply the principle. Yeah?
The problem is, I'm using one definition.
No. What I'm saying to you is this: belief is the same word as faith. Is the same word as accept. Is the same word as convinced. Is the same word. It is. Go on, listen to me. This is not a subjective, opinionated thing. Go to the thesaurus. You'll see the word belief.
Faith and belief.
No, listen. Go to belief. Synonyms of belief: faith, trust, convinced, convict.
All right.
All the same thing.
Where are you going with this?
Right. So where I'm going is, so when we say belief, we believe something to be true, means we accept it to be true.
Yes.
Without proof.
That's one definition.
Right.
That is one of the definitions of faith.
Or with proof.
With proof and
But
without
either.
proof are different definitions of belief. Yes.
No.
Yes.
It just-
yes. I can explain this to you.
It just alters the state of probability.
explain.
No, it doesn't.
It just alters.
All it means, it doesn't change the word belief.
Probability.
Belief, no, it doesn't.
That's you see, that's the problem of this discussion.
No, just a second.
Different ways of interpreting.
Let me just establish this belief thing first.
Okay, let's establish the definition of belief right now.
Let's do that.
Is your definition of belief to believe without seeing, with zero proof, or is your definition of belief something that is very likely to be true, that you have seen sort of proof of, and you believe in it because there's enough proof, enough evidence?
Okay.
Which one of those would
I'll explain it to you. Okay. A belief doesn't require proof, but it requires reason. And reason is technically evidence. Yeah?
So you mean
So I'll
logical
give you an example.
You mean
I'll give you an example.
Okay,
Pavlov,
give me an example.
flipping
Give me an
heck.
example.
Relax. Right. You believe your father's your father.
Yes.
Right. And your reasons for believing your father's your father is because obviously you believe your mum is faithful. She didn't cheat with another man.
That's one of the reasons.
All right. Another one is you're probably on a birth certificate.
Yes.
Another reason is family testimony.
Another reason.
And this is enough for you to hold the belief.
Yeah, many more reasons.
No, I know. But for me, now, that's enough reasons for you to believe to believe your father is your father with conviction. Yeah? Unless I come with a DNA test and said, look, it's not your father, which is evidence, and then you've got to question, has that been doctored or whatever?
Yeah, I will start questioning.
Yeah,
but
I would.
question-
If someone came to me and said your daughters are not your daughters, I would test the DNA. I would challenge the DNA test. To be honest with you, so your belief is supported by reason,
Yes.
and that belief can be in teapots floating around Mars. That belief could be Christianity. That belief could be atheism. That belief could be
Islam, it can be
anything. But the
It
principle.
depends on the reason.
Allahu Akbar. So what is it? The principle is this. So no matter what anyone's belief is, they need reason to support it.
Yes.
And if they bring you reasons to support it, and I challenge those reasons, and I collapse those reasons, and I refute those reasons, then that belief is debunked. Yeah?
And then it's delusion if they still
And
accept
if they
that.
still believe what they claim against the evidence, they're delusional.
But it's still possible, even if you debunk something to a person, it's still possible that you're the one in the wrong. Because now,
Well, no, I can
just
go
let
where
me
the
finish
evidence
this.
leads me, can't
Because
I?
many times people win arguments for being a better speaker
No.
and not for
No,
having a better point.
that's a valid
It
point.
is very true.
That's a valid point.
Through a persuasive person, even the most rotten ideology ever will seem pure like gold to any person who hears it.
That's a valid point. However, what you
It's a red herring,
what you
though.
no, I'll tell you why it's a valid point. But however, what you perhaps are not sort of contemplating on is the fact that over time, with many countering and supportive arguments, eventually you will get a clearer and clearer picture. Because you can't argue that everybody that argues on one side is more eloquent and is a better speaker, and everybody who's on the other side is somehow less eloquent, right? So over time, what you would find is that as the Quran says, that the truth of the Quran, truth is clear from error. In other words, the truth will eventually come out. So during discussions, during debates, during multiple and multifaceted discussions and debates, eventually what you would find is a clearer picture will come out of that. Right?
It's a good possibility, but it's not certain. Because sometimes people deny the possibility
but you said that we would go on balance of probability.
Yes, that's what I mean.
So on balance
it's still not certain.
No. But on balance of probability, what I
I'm
have
just
said,
hammering the point
I
home
understand
that there is no absolute certainty.
We're not arguing there is. We're not arguing there is. But
Just,
on balance of probability,
making sure.
on balance of probability, would you
Because
say
later in the conversation this will matter.
on balance of
you're
probability,
certain your
would you
father's your
say that what I have just said is probably more likely to be correct than incorrect? On
Yes,
balance,
exactly.
Okay, so let's move
It is
on.
more likely for me to be the son of my father than it is for me to not be the son of my
Right,
father.
based upon your evidence,
because
right? On your
there's
reasons.
A lot of evidence.
Right.
Exactly.
Unless
Okay.
you switch to birth at the hospital.
So now,
It's possible.
So your argument was, why do we Muslims believe in this creator, and why do we believe that Islam is the truth?
Why do you think it's
Can I
a
do this? 'Cause
worthy
this is my
belief
introduction.
of
Okay.
having?
This is my introduction, because we're doing this one. It might be a nice little flesh out. Okay. I'm an Englishman. Grew up here, atheist. Yeah? I'm an Englishman. I grew up as an atheist. Didn't believe in God, rejected religions, didn't care about religions, didn't think about religion. Then one day I spoke to Muslims, and they spoke to me about God and a creator. And I never thought of it. And when I thought about it, I became an agnostic. Because I was like, well, you know what? I think you might have something there. Yeah, the way that everything, intelligent design and all such, and fine-tuning, all of these arguments were very persuasive to me. So I came to the conclusion, you know what? I believe there could be a creator, but I don't believe in your man-made religions. Yes, I think they're all there created to control the masses, where someone needs a crutch to lean on, all of these things. People need something to know that when they die there's some kind of hope. So this is what I believed. Until someone said to me about Islam and the teachings and the guidance within Islam. And who brought this was a man called Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, 1400 years ago. So I have a creator now, which is abstract at the moment. No characteristics. The only qualities for me before looking at religion, see, I became believing in God without religion, yeah? So the only characteristics I could see was whatever this thing was powerful, must be intelligent, and must be conscious. Because it chose when to do what it did. What it designed required intelligence.
You mean Muhammad was intelligent? Is that what you mean?
No.
Or his teachings were?
The creator.
Okay, can I start again? Please pay attention.
I understand what you mean.
No, you didn't.
No, I
You
do
completely
understand.
misunderstood what I said.
Okay,
I'll say it again to you.
Go ahead.
Right now, we're going to put Islam there. So forget Muhammad, Quran, and everything, yeah? Come back now. Right. I believed in a creator. Because I believe in the idea that we didn't evolve from fish. I don't believe that. I don't accept that.
Okay.
I believe we were created in proportion the way we are. Me personally. I believe the universe was designed in proportion. I believe the laws were all created. I believe all of this. I don't believe it was a result of a random accident. I don't believe this universe is an accident. I believe it was deliberate. That's my belief. Right? But I didn't believe in religion. So right now, all I have, without religion, without any revelation from this thing, all I had was a being. I think this way.
Oh, sure.
Was a being that must be conscious because it chose when to cause whatever it caused, must be intelligent for what it caused, and must be powerful to have caused what it caused.
Okay.
But I don't have no name Allah. I don't have no attributes. I have nothing. But I have this.
You came to that conclusion.
Yes.
Then why?
Then what happens? Why? Then I just explain it to you.
You did.
Right. Well, ask me why then.
You did, but listen, you explained to me how you came to that conclusion.
Of a creator.
That you think that it must be created by something intelligent.
All right.
But that is the watchmaker fallacy. Just because something is complicated doesn't mean it has to be done by a more complicated being.
What?
There is no the watchmaker fallacy. The watchmaker theory.
If you find a watch in the desert or whatever.
Exactly. He knows about
What's he saying? No,
He
he's not
knows
saying
about
that.
it.
Yeah, he's talking about a complex existence of something like a watch, and therefore it must have had a manufacturer, a designer, a
Yes.
creator.
Do I have to really? I have to go back further.
You have to go back further.
Oh, flipping it. Okay.
I understood what
no,
you
no,
said.
no, you don't. You
He
didn't.
knows that I understood
No, no, no.
what you said.
You did, but you didn't. So Islam is here. The creator. Here. Right.
Yes, I'm only talking about the creator.
No,
I'm
creator's
not
gone
talking
now.
about
No.
Islam.
Creator's gone now. No, you're not ready for the creator. Right.
Okay, go ahead.
No, seriously, you're not.
Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
Do you believe everything that begins to exist requires a cause?
The causality means that there's a cause and an effect.
Do you believe everything that begins to exist requires a cause? Yes or no?
Yes, there's a cause and an effect. I do
you-
believe in that.
So you do believe, right? Do you believe the universe began to exist or not?
That's a good question.
Probability.
The probability is that yes.
It began to exist.
However, there is one small problem which becomes a very big problem.
What's that?
It's this, that the beginning of the universe is where science stops explaining
Wasn't my
everything.
question. Wasn't my question. Do you believe the universe began to exist or not?
I'm not.
You don't do certainty.
Listen, yes, I know. Good point. When I say I'm certain, it means in reality that there's a very big possibility
No,
of
you
this
don't have
being
certainty,
true.
mate. You don't do certainty.
Exactly.
Your caveat
I don't
at the
have
beginning was I
absolute
don't do
certainty.
certainty.
Yes.
So what's
we're having
probability?
a game of semantics here.
No.
I'm not saying yes.
Probability.
When I say I'm not certain, I
No.
mean I'm not. There isn't a very big possibility.
On
So what's the
balance,
probability?
on balance of probability.
On the balance
Yes.
of
Do you
probability
feel that the universe came into existence?
or not?
It's a good question, but I don't know how to exactly answer it.
Okay,
Just answer it
okay,
honestly.
My answer is
What does science
doesn't
say?
matter.
What does science say?
No, answer
we
it
can't
honestly.
come to
no,
the
Pablo,
answer.
Pablo, answer it honestly. Do you feel?
Pablo, what does
Look,
science
I'm
say?
asking you an honest question. now,
How old
right?
is the universe?
Look,
do it that way. Do it that way.
forget-
How old
An
is-
honest answer to that is that I don't know.
Forget where this conversation might go and preempt where it might
That's
go.
what he's trying to do.
Don't do that.
You're in the
I
wrong
think you're
company.
smiling, right? Don't do that.
You're in the wrong
It's,
company.
it's an honest question.
Do what?
Because you know where this is going to lead
you
you.
predicting where I-
You're a
where
clever
you-
guy.
You know exactly
You're
where
a,
we're
you're a
going.
clever man.
I do.
You
but
know
I'm
where
allowing
you know where
to
you
lead
hold on.
me to the
No,
way
but-
you want
but
to lead
no,
me.
no, no, no,
No,
no.
no,
That is what I'm
Pablo,
doing.
Pablo.
I'm going the way
That's
you want
look.
to go.
This is where
Pablo.
So-
it becomes a dishonest conversation.
Listen,
How is it a
I'll tell you
dishonest
why.
I'll
Because
explain
if you feel something intuitively, rationally, reasonably,
Intuition is
how,
not
how,
rationality.
I gave you a varied reasons, right? And then preempting where the conversation might go, and so then you decide not to answer the question. That's where the dishonesty comes in. And you're smiling, Pablo.
And here's the thing,
It's
Pablo.
quite
No,
telling.
I'm not
It's quite
smiling.
telling.
No, I'm not
you
smiling.
are
Because
smiling.
listen, do you know what's in my pocket?
No.
No.
You see.
What's your
Can I
point?
call you dishonest for not knowing what's in my pocket? It's simply beyond
What are
my
you on about? What are you
comprehension.
on
No, but if
I can assume that the world began. I
No,
can
what are you
assume
about?
that the world always
Pablo,
existed,
Pablo.
but I do not
Pablo,
know.
Pablo,
but answer the question.
I'm not allowing you off the hook,
perception
mate.
and my
I'm not allowing you off
reason
the hook.
ends.
I'm not, because you know why? You started this whole conversation with you don't do certainty, and I'm not asking you for certainty. I'm asking you said you do probability. I'm asking you.
All right, you want me to make an assumption.
Okay, let me
Let's make the
I'll
assumption
make it easy.
that before the universe, there was the
No.
universe, but in another
No.
shape and
No.
form.
I didn't ask you for that
It was
assumption.
such a different way.
How old is the universe?
I don't know.
According to the scientific method.
I don't remember.
You love science, come on, man.
Yes, but I don't remember the exact
14.
13.4
13.4
billion years.
3 or 4
Okay,
billion
fair
years.
enough. I'll take you up on that.
All right.
I don't know if that's the
so,
actual
well, you
number.
like science, as you do.
You do.
I do, but look, I don't know everything
No, but you like it, though,
about
don't you?
science.
But you like it, though, don't you?
I do like it as an explanation
That's
of
fine.
the world that
We'll roll with that
surrounds
then.
us.
We'll roll with that one. So according to science, so I won't use you, I'll use science. According to scientific understanding, the universe is 13.4 billion years old.
Okay.
Now, does
Let's
that-
assume it is, yes.
Yeah. Does that tell you it had a beginning?
If it says that there was that it's blah 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 years old, then yes, it assumes that it has some kind of a beginning.
So the
Yes.
scientific method assumes the universe had a beginning. And according to our principle, everything that has a beginning requires a cause. Yes?
Yes, yes, yes. All of that is yes.
Fantastic.
But now the thing is, have you heard about quantum mechanics?
Listen, do you accept that or not?
Have you heard about the Einstein's relativity theory? The problem of the beginning of the universe, the reason we don't know how it began, is because quantum mechanics and the relativity theory aren't connected together. They contradict each other very
We know that.
much.
We know that.
You do know that?
Yes.
But that is where the Hadron Collider comes in, because when the Hadron Collider will be put in play, quantum mechanics will be able to kind of find a solution to link itself
forget
to
your dreams.
the
Forget your dreams.
relativity
When it happens,
theory.
bring it to me.
Okay, fair enough, but you're
Right.
asking me things that I
No,
do
no,
not
no.
have an answer.
I didn't ask you for anything.
Nobody has an answer at the moment.
I didn't ask you for an answer. All I said to you is this,
You
very
did.
simply.
You asked me for an answer, you did.
Okay.
Not for certainty, but
No,
for an answer.
no, I didn't. What I said to you was this.
You told me I wasn't being honest because I told you I don't
No,
know.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
I
You
did.
Okay, you did.
Listen to me then. Pay attention.
Was I honest
Look
in
into
that
my
remark?
eyes, not around my eyes, in my eyes.
Was I honest in that remark?
Hold on,
I
Pablo?
can't, I'm looking into his eyes.
No, listen, right? What I'm saying is this. We agreed a principle what? Everything that begins to exist requires a cause, yes? Alhamdulillah. We've now agreed, according to science, whether you agree with science or not is another story. According to science, the universe had a beginning. Therefore, it requires a cause, yes?
Yes, but it's not a proven theory.
But according to the principle.
That's one theory. That's one
Yes,
theory.
that's
there
one
are
of the
theories
theories.
that the universe has always existed.
Yeah, you can go with the
As I
minority.
said,
No,
science
it's not a minority.
doesn't
It's
have a
being
very
proposed
likely
in
answer
theory.
to it.
Yeah, but it's
Usually
it's-
scientists
What's your
just
proof?
Well, at the moment, we don't have any.
Right.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's continue then.
we
This
do
is
not
what I
have
said.
proof
That's it
how the
then, end of
universe began.
conversation.
That's
Right.
my answer to you.
Right. Am I right
but
now
it's- but
explaining what
it's a little
I
bit of an
believe?
unfair discussion when
Yeah,
you
or not?
are willing to accept something
Right.
based on no
So
proof or evidence.
I'm telling you why I believe what
And
I
then when
believe.
a person
Whether
of
you
religion says that
accept
there's a
it
creator
for
and it has a
yourself
cause,
to be true is one
then
thing.
you say, what's your evidence?
believe
What's
what
your
you
Well, what I'm
believe.
saying,
But that's
but
what-
what-
I didn't say that.
But
What
that's
I'm
how
saying
generally
to
these
you
conversations
is-
go.
I know, but
And that's a bit
I
unfair, I
can't
think.
refute- I know that. I agree with that, but I haven't said that yet.
I can refute its certainty.
Pavlov, you can't refute it at all.
I can refute its certainty.
but you
I can
can't
refute
certainty of
its
what?
likelihood. I can prove to you that it's more or less likely.
No, you can't.
I cannot tell you
No, you
that
can't.
no, your God doesn't
No, you
exist. I
can't.
cannot tell you that.
You can't.
I cannot tell
Do you know why
Allah
you
doesn't
can't
exist.
refute
I
it?
cannot tell
Pavlov,
you
do you know why you can't refute it? Because you already said you don't know.
that.
So if you don't
Do
know,
you know?
No, but you.
No, do
No.
you know?
Listen, Pavlov. What did I just say to you? I'm telling you why I believe what I believe. Yes or
You
no?
want me to answer questions, and I'm
No, but follow the
accused
logic
of
here.
dishonesty when I don't answer. Now, why don't you
No,
answer
listen.
my
I will answer you. I am answering your flipping question. Relax. Right. What I'm saying to you is this. I'm explaining to you why I believe what I believe. And I'm saying you can't refute what I believe because you don't know. If you don't know, you can't say what I'm telling you now is wrong.
But I can tell you that it's less likely.
Yeah.
Then you can provide your alternative. I don't mind.
Of course, I can provide you evidence of the
All right,
low likelihood
can you
of your
provide
theory.
me evidence the universe has always existed?
Of the universe existed.
Always existed.
The universe always existed.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
All right. So you can't refute
That's,
that.
no,
Fine.
I can't refute
All right.
that specific
Right.
thing.
Can you bring me evidence of something beginning to exist that didn't have a cause?
Something beginning to exist without a cause.
Yeah.
No.
No. Hey, this is for the pink people. This is for pink people, man. No men over there.
No, I can't.
All right, right. So that's two things you can't refute. So Anna says you can't refute. Okay. So now we have a situation where the cause of the universe, what's that? And we don't know. You don't know. All right. But what I'm saying, whatever is the cause of the universe has to be uncaused.
Has to be
You
uncaused.
can do your James Bond eyebrow all you like, mate.
Has to be uncaused.
James Bond.
By necessity.
Okay, tell me, what do you mean by has to be uncaused?
Meaning the cause of the universe at some point can have no cause. It itself has to have always existed, whatever
Okay,
it is.
okay. That's another fallacy.
No?
If you believe
It's
that
a
everything
fallacy.
has a cause and an effect, you're choosing to believe that there's an exception to that rule, and that exception for
that
you
wasn't the rule
is
he gave.
God.
No.
Yes. There's something that doesn't have a beginning. That's what you're saying.
Right?
You're right. That's an exception to the rule of cause and effect.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What did I? What was?
If everything has a cause
No, I
and
didn't say that,
effect,
though, did I? Didn't say. See, don't misquote me. You
Yes,
got me
you
listen.
did.
Listen to what Pablo. You might not
you
see.
said everything has a cause and
Pablo,
effect.
have you seen my videos?
I have. I haven't seen very
All
a
right.
lot of your videos.
All right. See, if you had seen my videos, you'd know. Listen to what I say very, very carefully, because the clue is in what I say. I'll say it again to you. Everything that begins to exist requires a cause. Yes.
Yes.
I do not believe the cause of the universe had a beginning by necessity. Do you understand that?
So you're making an exception
No,
to the rule.
no. I'm establishing the principle there has to be an uncaused cause somewhere.
Yes, it is the exception to the rule of causality.
No!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
It's only the exception to the rule if the cause of the universe began to exist.
Exactly. That
Right,
is the
but I'm not
exception that
saying
you're
it
making.
did. But I'm not saying it did.
You're making that exception without having any evidence
No,
to back that
no.
exception.
By necessity, it has to be uncaused. By necessity.
Tell him why.
Okay. Have you heard of
You
the
can just answer you don't know, like I do.
No, I don't hide behind don't
You
know.
should do.
I'll tell you why I don't.
I don't hide behind
tell you why
I
I
don't
don't.
know.
No,
I don't
Hamza.
know.
No, one second,
My
one second.
I don't know.
Have you heard
My
of have you heard of
uncertainty
infinite
is
regression?
far more certain than
Have you
any
heard of
certainty
infinite
people might
regression?
have.
Have
Sorry?
you heard of infinite regression?
Infinite regression, I have.
And what is it?
Infinite regression is the infinite circle of cause and effect in this
Circle.
case.
Circle.
It's the infinite of going back and back and back.
The infinite
the cause
past.
is this, the cause is this, the cause is this.
All right. Is it
and I heard
possible?
this, you know,
Is it possible to have infinite regression and us be here as well?
is infinity possible?
No. Is infinite regression possible and us to be here?
I suppose it is. It's a possibility.
No, it's not.
Why not?
Okay. If you have an infinite past, you'll never get a present.
Right. If you have an infinite past, you do not have a present. Why not?
Because the past is infinite.
So,
You need to watch our video.
Think about it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so let him think about
I
it.
know what you mean, and it's funny because the last person who made this argument to me of infinite regression was a Jew. It was Ben Shapiro. I watched one of his videos, and he was arguing against infinite regression. But again, guys, you are making an exception to the rule.
Okay, but
Yes,
hold on a
you
second.
are.
But Pablo-
Because you're saying that
Pablo,
infinite regression is
Pablo,
impossible,
Pablo,
and you don't have a proof that it's impossible.
Well, I'll prove it's
Pablo,
impossible.
Pablo, if you
Can I prove it's impossible? Infinite regression. Let me prove it to you.
Okay, prove it.
I'm here.
No, but-
I'll explain
no,
it to you.
no,
I'll explain it to you.
Also, but
Let me-
Pavlov,
Let me just explain it to
the,
you.
the, very, the very fact that you've agreed that what begins to exist has a cause, it in itself necessitates that the first cause,
Has to be uncaused.
whatever that first cause is, has to be uncaused.
Let me explain why.
said that?
I'll explain why.
How can you prove
Okay.
that? Okay, go ahead.
Could this universe exist without a cause?
I don't know. All right, let me give you guys an example. As you said about quantum mechanics, about the the two little holes.
No, Pavlov.
Another experiment done by quantum mechanics was
Pavlov. Stay on point.
is that when
Could
a
this
molecule is not
universe
being
exist?
perceived, is
Could
not being
this
observed.
universe exist without
Supposedly,
a cause?
do you know about the Schrodinger's cat?
Okay.
Yes.
You do know about it.
Could this
When a
universe
molecule is not
exist
being
without a cause?
observed, it can
Alright,
be
let
anywhere
Imran-
and it can
let
be
Imran say.
nowhere.
Imran, go deal with
That's the
this.
problem.
Let Imran
That
deal
is,
with
that
it.
is the thing. There are things we do
Okay.
not understand.
Can I ask
And what
you-
you're doing is to make
Pavlov,
up
Pavlov,
answers
you've been
that
very
we don't
dishonest.
have.
You've been very dishonest.
How? How am I
I'll
being
explain to you.
dishonest?
I'll explain to you. You've just agreed everything that begins to exist requires a cause.
Yes, according to
Right,
what we can
right.
perceive.
And the universe began to exist, so it requires a cause. Which means, without that cause, the universe wouldn't exist, would it?
What if there was another universe
Are you
before
listening?
this
Are you listening to what I'm
universe?
saying to you?
Yes, I am.
Right. Could this universe exist without that cause?
It might be another universe
Could
before
this universe exist
universe.
without this cause?
Maybe it can. I don't know.
Well, if it's this cause of the universe, how can you have an effect without a cause?
I do not know. We do
This
not
is-
have information about
You're
that.
dishonest, mate.
I'm
You're
not dishonest. Listen.
Can you have an effect without a cause?
I am dishonest.
Can
when
you have an
I'm-
effect without a
when I'm
cause?
assuming something that I cannot prove.
You
When
just-
I'm saying
you just
I
agreed.
don't know,
You just agreed.
it's not being dishonest.
Can you have an effect without a
Let,
cause?
let Imran step in there. I think.
The principle of causality means there's always cause and effect.
All right, stop dictating the laws of causality and ask the simple question. Can you have an effect without a cause?
Well, that's your point.
No,
That's
can
what
you?
you're saying.
It's a question.
Okay, according to you, you can.
No, I'm asking you.
According to you, you can.
What?
According to what you said, you can
That's what
have
you
an
believe,
effect
mate. That's
without
what you
a
believe,
cause.
mate. What you believe.
What I believe in.
Can, Do you believe you can have an effect without a cause?
It's possible.
It is possible. Give me an example.
Exactly what you're saying.
Forget me, I'm asking you.
No, bro.
I do not agree with the idea of cause and effect. I do
Oh,
not-
you don't?
No, look, it's very likely, it's incredibly likely. But again, once you accept the causality, the cause and effect principle to be absolute, you're assuming
Nobody's talking
it's...
about absolutes here.
Yes, yes, he is. Right
We're
now,
talking-
he's asking me.
we're talking
You're
about
asking
balance of
me-
probability.
You know
Yes, you
what?
are.
Listen, rewind this conversation half an hour.
Balance
what
of
did I say right at the very
probability.
beginning? We establish a principle. And when
Yes,
we
and now you're contradicting
no,
yourself.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Because you're telling me that they cannot be an effect without a cause.
No, I said to you, no. We established
said that?
We established the principle from the very beginning about whatever begins to exist requires a cause. We've already established this. You accepted
Okay,
that.
okay.
Right?
I
Now,
accept it as a very large likelihood.
as the premise, yes.
Yes.
And then we said the universe began to exist, so it required a cause. Right? So
Fair
a very
enough.
simple question. Could the universe exist without that cause?
It is possible.
How?
How? Because no knowledge is absolute. The knowledge I
not
possess
talking
right
about
now.
absolute.
Okay,
We're not
wait.
talking about
Before you
absolute.
interrupt me,
Explain to me
before
how-
you call me dishonest, let's hear me
Go on,
out.
let me hear it.
The very idea of flawed knowledge that you accepted in the beginning of this conversation,
Not
being-
flawed,
of
not certain.
yes,
That
yes,
doesn't mean
yes,
it's
of
flawed.
uncertain knowledge. Let's use the word uncertain. Proves that causality is not absolute because we might
No, it
not
doesn't.
have absolute perception
talking
of
about
it.
absolutes here.
Do you know what I mean?
So what you're-
exactly. We're not talking about absolutes because they do not exist.
No, because we're going by
they
your,
cannot be perceived
we're,
by
we're sticking
humans.
to your paradigm,
The problem
What
here,
about?
which was balance of probability.
I'll give you a chance to talk then. Let me ask you again.
I think you let Imran
Without
step
a
in.
cause, how did the universe come into existence?
I don't know.
is there anything you know? Is there anything you do know?
For certain.
Yeah.
No.
No, he doesn't do certainty.
Is there anything you know probably?
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Do you
What?
think? Do you think that there was a time when there wasn't a universe, or there was a circumstance in which there wasn't a universe?
It's possible.
So this is how much possible is it? More
Okay,
possible
so
than
there
not?
was a time without
No,
a universe.
A circumstance.
He says it probable because he likes
Is it-
What's your
probability.
question?
Is there a
What's your question?
was there a circumstance in which there wasn't a universe?
Circumstance in which there was no universe. I would give it a 0.1% of probability.
Based upon what?
Huh?
Based upon what?
I'm just imagining the percentage right now because I do not know.
So what do you
You
base
see,
prob-
you laugh. You laugh.
Why do we
because
laugh?
I am
Why do we
admitting
laugh?
my ignorance.
Why do we laugh?
I am admitting
Okay.
my
How do you determine
unknowing.
probability?
You guys think
How do you
that you
determine
know
probability?
No, we're not
No.
saying that,
How do you
Pablo.
determine-
Why do you laugh then?
Okay, I'll tell you why we laugh. Let me explain why we laugh. You said you love probability, and then we asked you, what are you using to determine probability? But the probability is determined on evidence.
Yes.
Right.
And we do not have the evidence
So
of the
why
beginning of the
0.01%?
universe.
What
Because
do you-
I'm
what
just
do you-
pulling it out of nowhere.
Based on
You
what?
guys, because you guys want an answer from me. You do not accept
No.
the answer of
No.
I don't know
No,
because you're
no.
calling me dishonest.
No,
Even
Pablo.
though that's the only answer I can
Pablo,
give.
Pablo.
Because
No,
I have
that's
no
not why I called
evidence
you
of that.
dishonest.
That's just emotion.
That's not why I called you dishonest, mate.
Pablo.
I called you dishonest because we
The- the-
applied
the
a
re-
principle, we
the-
agreed a
the-
principle,
the reason-
and you went against
The
it.
reason why I think we're not getting anywhere is that you're
Right.
actually moving the goalpost.
I think this is a waste of time.
You're moving the goalposts. And by that
Honestly.
is that we're setting something that you're agreeing with, and then when we're moving forward, you're going back and not agreeing with that thing anymore. And because of that reason, we're not actually moving forward. You've accepted on balance of probability that it is more likely that the universe came into existence. That was your words. You said it was more likely that it had a cause, but we don't know that cause. Now, when Hamza is talking about that cause, you're going back and saying, but it might not have been caused.
Challenging cause and
Okay,
effect.
you want me to
So-
give
so-
the reason why I think
on
that the
balance of
universe
proba-
had something before it.
No.
No.
So what do you want?
On
All right.
balance of probability, do
I
you
want
find
you-
that notion acceptable? And you agree
That
that
there
you
was
do.
something before the
A
universe.
cause of the
A
universe.
cause of the universe.
And in terms of probability, I think it's more probable that there was something before the universe, that there
Okay.
was a cause, because
Right.
everything
Right,
I
right,
see
right, right, right.
had a cause.
But
Right,
we
we
agree
agree.
with
Right,
all that.
we agree, we agree.
We agree
So-
with
I
that.
agree that it's more probable.
Alhamdulillah.
we agree with
Right.
that, we agree
And
with
without
that.
that cause, would the universe exist?
Well,
According
obviously
to
not.
this, no.
Allah. Right.
So now we can go
I
back.
think let Imran have a go now.
No. Now we're at that point.
Okay.
So the universe is here, and the cause is here. Without the cause, no universe. Yes. Okay. This cause can't exist until this cause causes it. This is infinite regression now. So the universe now is not there. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It can't be there because this cause is not caused yet. This cause has to cause this cause to cause this.
It can still be present with an infinite past.
No. I'll tell you why it can't. this cause, listen to me, this cause has to cause this, yes? This is our cause before the universe. You then claim the cause needs a cause, yes? So if that cause can't exist until this cause causes it, which means this can't exist until that cause causes that. Do you understand that?
Yeah, an infinite.
No, do you
regression.
understand that? No.
Yes.
Right. Now this cause can't exist to cause this cause until this cause exists.
Yeah, but there were
listen,
causes before
just
us.
listen. I'm going back, don't worry, mate. But what you've got to understand is this: the universe can't exist until this causes this, which can't exist until this causes this, which can't
that
exist.
is why we can't
right.
perceive infinity.
So if we go backwards,
as finite
so
beings,
listen,
we cannot perceive
so listen,
infinity.
so
That's
listen.
not correct.
If we go backwards, regression all the way, you'll never get a universe.
That is why I said I don't know.
No, this is not subjective, mate.
The question.
Okay, do you want me to give you the possibility? What's the likelihood of there actually being a God before the universe?
No. And what I want you to do
I
is
will
challenge.
still not know.
All I want you to do. I'm not interested in you telling me about what was there and what wasn't there. All we're dealing with right now is infinite regression. You think infinite regression is possible? That's what you're claiming.
Why don't you answer your own question? And I will just follow your ideology. I will just follow you by
What's
hand.
my question?
Show me your point of view.
Just showed you.
You didn't. You're right. You keep asking me questions. You
What
keep
do you
asking me
think?
about my
What do you
ideology.
think? This was.
Yeah, exactly, about my ideology.
the-
Why don't
No.
you answer your own question?
What are you about?
So you think that God was before this universe?
Okay. What
That
did
God
I,
has no cause.
Are you listening to me?
That's what you're
Are you-
saying.
are you listening?
I am listening.
All right. Listen again. Allah's here. Islam is here. There is no gods. As it
Nobody
stands.
mentioned Islam.
No.
Nobody
Or Allah.
mentioned
Or
Islam.
God.
Nobody mentioned Allah. Nobody
Oh, okay.
mentioned your religion.
Right now, I'm not interested in religion or God.
Yes.
All I'm interested in is principles and science. That's all I'm interested in. Right? And the principle is this. This universe, whatever caused it, has to be uncaused. And if it's not
All right.
uncaused, there
Let's
can be no
accept
universe.
that possibility. Let's entertain that possibility.
Just before you go forward.
Because we
I
will
know
never
this is
get
another-
anywhere
Okay,
if
let me-
I do not
okay, sure.
accept that
we
possibility.
won't.
So let me
Okay,
lay.
let's go through your theory.
I just want to ask one question. Do you think there's such thing as ultimate truth?
Absolutely.
No, he doesn't.
Not is ultimately true.
No.
It's not true.
There might be absolute truth, but we just can't be certain that they are absolute truth.
Okay, listen. So absolute. So you do believe in absolutes. Something that is absolutely true.
It's because there is no absolute truth. That the
but no, I'm
lack
saying-
of
but is that
absolution
statement-
is
is that-
absolute.
Yeah, but
Is
your
that
statement
statement-
absolutely true.
Is
I
that
don't
you?
know.
No, so
There might be
I'm
absolute
going to be
truth.
the, I'm
It's a
gonna be
truth,
the
it's a truth.
mediator here.
Let's
I'm going to be
The
the
answer is,
mediator.
will
I'm
be
not-
always,
I'm going
I
to be
do
the
not
me-
know.
I'm going to be the
No.
self-appointed mediator here.
Because truth
okay,
are
Imran,
not
has-
absolute.
Imran has wanted to come in for a long time.
I'm just going to give his. 'cause you
Pavlov,
said-
Imran, Pavlov.
Just
Spread out a little bit.
So he just wanted to
Pavlov,
clarify
come
for
over here. You're too
you.
big, man. You're a big guy.
He just wanted to clarify for you what he was trying to say. So I'm going to just lay it out rather than ask you some questions. So the principle that he's putting forward is that everything that begins the existence has a cause. And there's a principle before that, but I won't mention it now, I'll bring it in a bit later. The universe began to exist, all the evidence points towards this. The expansion, the redshift, the background radiation all points towards the singularity, and it all points towards the beginning, which is where we get the age of the universe. So the universe began to exist. Now the infinite regression point is very important because infinities are conceptually possible, so we can use them in maths, but there's no
No ability to apply infinity to the real world.
there's
No ability to actually
real,
perceive
so,
it.
so let me say, so there's no real world infinity. There's no infinity actual infinity. There are only theoretical infinities. You cannot traverse an infinite series of past events. It's very basic knowledge.
Let's accept that.
Yeah.
Let's
no,
entertain that
let's,
possibility.
no, let's,
not opinionated.
no, this is the problem.
Subjective.
So either
Do you
are
believe that your God is infinite?
see,
No,
this
but
is
you're denying
wait a
infinity,
second.
and I accept
not-
that
I'm
because
not-
infinity
Let's-
cannot be
let's-
perceived
let's
by
first
us.
define the
obsessed with the
principle.
word
You're
God.
confusing two different
I'm
things.
obsessed with the word God.
You're
Because you want the
No.
answer.
Let Imran finish.
God is your answer
Okay,
to how
Pablo.
the universe began.
Pablo, let
You're
Imran
not
finish.
listening to
So
that.
you're doing exactly what he said. You're trying to guess where we're going.
Yeah.
I'm not guessing
have-
anything.
I'm
That is
trying to-
the only
Well, stop
answer
saying the
I'm
word
trying
God.
possible in this scenario
Well,
that
stop
you're
saying the
bringing
word
me
God.
into.
Stop saying the
I'm
word
trying
God.
to
because
give
we haven't
you-
said it.
Which word do you want me to use?
Creator.
Creator.
Cause.
Let
all
Imran
right.
finish.
I'm just trying to lay it out to you, and then you can disagree with it afterwards. So it's impossible to traverse an infinite series of past events. Logically possible, impossible. And there are no the actual in the universe that we know of. So this is talking about space, time, matter. Yeah, that there is no actual infinities that we're aware
So
of.
there's no infinity.
No. What did I say? Space and time. So we're talking about matter or energy, right?
Okay.
Okay. So That's very important, that distinction, because we'll get onto something else in a moment. And you cannot traverse an infinite series of past events. So that means if you're, let's put you in the middle of an infinity. Can you walk to the end? If every step you take is a step in the infinite series, will you ever get out? Can you ever walk out from the infinity?
No, you'll never get out.
You'll never get out of it. So the whole point.
Infinite.
That's right. So the point here is the fact that the creation exists necessitates that we cannot have an infinite chain of events going in the past. Okay?
Even though you can never get out of the infinity, you are at a specific point of infinity.
No. Any point in a specific infinity.
It's every point, because it's infinity.
Every point in an infinity has an infinite series
That's
behind
how
it.
quantum mechanics
And it doesn't. But the point here is, you cannot traverse an infinite series of past events, and you can't just start in the middle of a series of events. You can't just say, I'm going to ignore everything in the past, I'm just going to start from this point,
Okay,
we're
let's say
here.
you can't. Let's say you
Okay, so then...
Let's say.
Listen, guys. You seem to not like the answer. I don't know.
No.
You don't like that answer.
No.
You do know
What,
it,
what
but
we
you
don't like? I'll tell you what we
don't
don't like.
accept that you know.
Pavlov.
I don't know. I don't know it.
Pavlov.
You guys are the ones who refuse
Pavlov.
the honesty of
Pavlov.
ignorance.
Okay, let's
Listen,
let him run finish.
The more you know,
Let him
the
run
more
finish.
you understand how little you know.
What I'm saying
We
is
don't know
this.
anything. We don't know
You
anything.
keep
You're
saying
right. We
this
don't know anything.
as if this is an opinion. It's not an opinion what he's saying. This is fact.
It's perception.
Everything's perception.
Everything.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah, so,
And that is where we come to David Hume, the skeptic.
before you get to David Hume, let me just finish what I was saying to you. So it's logically impossible to traverse an infinite series of past events. And I don't believe that something can come from nothing. Do you believe something can come from nothing?
Only to what we can observe, no.
No. So there has to be something that isn't part of this infinite series of past events. There has to be a start point outside of this chain of infinite regression. And that is the uncaused cause. This is what Plato put forward, the unmoved mover. These are all logical. The ultimate end of logic is that there has to be an unmoved mover, a prime mover of some cause. And this is the same position that we hold. Then you can do a conceptual analysis of what qualities this uncaused cause would have. Well, first of all, necessitates. And you can carry on with the necessity from
So
there.
we have this uncaused cause, but we look at what it's caused. We look at there's no power that we know of that could cause this. So whatever this cause is, it's more powerful than anything we're aware of, yeah?
All right, if we accept the uncaused cause, then yes.
Right. And this cause must be conscious because it chose when to cause.
How do you know that it's conscious?
Because if it didn't choose when to cause, the effect would be the same time as it, infinite.
It's a matter of opinion.
No, it's a matter of fact.
How do you know it has the same kind of conscience that you and
It's
I
not the
have?
same as us. It's
It
not.
didn't say it was.
So you can't perceive it.
We can't perceive it.
So you can't even put it in words.
We're not
because you
doing
cannot
that.
But you're
perceive it.
confusing two different
You keep
things.
doing this. You've got to relax. You've got to throw religion out the window at this point and stop thinking we're going to
said
religion.
religion.
You keep thinking we're going to give qualities that we're explaining necessities.
No, I'm telling you that you have a certain perception of consciousness, of being
How do you understand
conscious.
consciousness?
Huh?
How do you understand consciousness then?
How do I describe consciousness?
How do you understand it?
Understand consciousness. All right. Consciousness has to do with my self-perception, with my perception of the world, and with my senses. That comes from my senses of the world, and comes from my previous information
Conscious
that
in
is
conscious
in my genes.
All right, sorry. I think I missed.
It's two things:
Let me-
experience and the.
Okay,
the
I think you've
genes.
misunderstood what I'm saying to you. Okay, conscious in the fact of cause and effect I'm referring to. So what's a conscious effect and a conscious cause and an unconscious cause? So for example, an apple tree. The apple is an effect of the tree, yes? But does the tree decide when it's going to grow apples? Or does the apple appear because the tree exists?
Does the tree have free will to decide?
Yes.
No.
It doesn't choose, does it? Right. So because the tree exists, the apple exists, yes?
This is mechanistic.
The same way a tree
No,
can
no.
grow without it having a conscience,
No,
God
will you just
can
listen?
be created
Will you just listen?
without having a conscience.
Pavlov, will you just listen,
It doesn't
please?
follow.
Will you just listen? Stop saying the word God. No one's used the word God except
Okay,
you, and
guys,
you're the bloody
listen,
atheist.
listen. I'm
No,
not
listen.
an
It's not.
atheist.
It's agnostic.
I'm not
Agnostic.
an
Pavlov, do you understand that principle that the apple exists because the tree exists?
Yes.
If the tree didn't exist, the apple wouldn't
Yes.
exist. Dan, the tree doesn't decide when the apple will be there or not. Well, does it?
Yes.
It does.
Well, the tree
No, he's
decides
agreeing
whether
with you. He
there's
just
going to
said
be
yes.
an
Yeah,
apple.
The
or
tree
not.
doesn't decide.
The tree doesn't.
Decide whether it's going to grow an apple.
the tree doesn't decide where the apple goes. The tree doesn't have a choice where the apple
Yeah,
goes.
we agree.
The tree can't decide where it goes.
I didn't say where it goes. Grows.
Oh, where it grows. Okay.
An apple grows on a tree because the tree exists. Yes. The cause of the apple, the cause of the effect is the tree. Okay. The apple exists because the tree exists. Standard. The tree doesn't decide whether to have an apple or not. Right. Now, me taking those apples and making an apple crumble, that's a conscious cause. Because I don't have to make an apple crumble.
Do you know what an apple crumble is?
Apple pie.
Apple pie.
I know what
You know an apple pie?
I'm just saying, because like language sometimes. You know, what the hell are you talking
I'm
about?
listening.
A crumbling
Now,
apple.
the apple pie doesn't have to exist because I exist. Yeah?
It doesn't have to exist because you exist.
No. I'm the cause of
Your
the apple.
existence caused the existence of the crumble pie.
No,
That's why it needs you to exist first.
Right, so I'm the cause of the apple pie, isn't it? But does the apple pie have to exist because I exist, as the apple has to exist because the tree exists? No. Do you understand that?
It doesn't have to exist because you exist.
Just because I exist doesn't mean the apple pie exists.
Yes, you don't actually have to make that specific
No, I don't have
apple
to.
crumble.
Well, so when I choose to make it, then it comes into existence. Yes. So I've caused it, but so the effect, which is the apple crumble, is not a result of me existing, in the sense of just because it exists. This is the same with the universe.
Conscious decision.
All I wanted to know was your reasons for believing in the religion.
So listen to me.
You're going
he's coming to
way off
No.
into things that cannot be explained.
No, for you see, you need these false premises and false assumptions stamping out initially, and then you'll get to where you get.
Listen, these are not false
Are you
premises,
listening?
false assumptions. These are assumptions we cannot have
So
a
anyway,
premise or an assumption
so me
for.
making the apple
These are
pie.
questions we cannot have an answer.
Pavlov, please. When has anyone had a go at you for saying don't know, other than me saying don't say I'm wrong because you don't
Sorry?
know? Anyway,
Say that again.
okay. When has anybody had a go at you for you saying you don't know something, other than when you tried to not know something and then say I was wrong about the same thing?
Because when you say you
You're
know
obsessed
something,
with
you
that.
need to prove that you know something.
No. But you're saying
You don't.
when you say don't know, no one's mocked you for it. But you seem to be living in a previous conversation you've had where you've said don't know and someone's mocked you for it. We're not saying that. We're happy for you not to know. We appreciate you not knowing. We understand why you don't know.
No, if you were not happy with that answer, you wanted a different answer.
No, I don't care what your
Yes,
answer
you
is.
told me I was not being honest.
No,
He told me I was not being honest.
The reason we say you're not being honest when we apply a principle and then you go against that principle anyway.
What principle? Infinite causality, or that there is
no,
a cause without a
you
cause?
challenged the cause and effect thing after we established it. Anyway,
Okay.
Anyway, so the apple tree is a mechanical cause of the apple. Yes? I'm a conscious cause of the apple because I choose when to make the
You are the conscious cause
apple
of the
crumble.
apple.
Apple crumble.
The apple crumble is the conscious cause of you.
No, I'm the conscious cause of it.
Okay, yeah. Yes, the cause of the apple
Conscious
crumble. Yeah,
cause.
yeah. My bad.
Conscious
I
cause.
mispronounced it. Yes.
Yeah.
The apple crumble is the.
No.
It's caused by you.
No,
It's caused by you. You caused the apple crumble into existence.
Listen to the key words, please. I am the conscious cause of the apple crumble.
Yes, it's caused by you.
Conscious.
I'm getting hungry now.
It's caused by you.
Conscious.
Is it caused by you?
Is it conscious?
Yes.
Hot custard.
Is it
You
conscious?
consciously caused the,
The
apple crumble into
Allahu
existence.
Akbar.
Yes.
If I didn't, right, did the tree, explain the point, did the tree consciously cause the apple?
We do not understand the consciousness of plants exactly, but there have been studies that prove that plants do feel a certain amount of pain. You can laugh.
no,
but
I agree.
I actually
I've
have a
read
study
that.
here.
Yeah,
I actually have a study right
Well, you
here
just heard-
about the feelings of trees.
Listen,
As a
Plants
living
not
being.
eat fruits, how plants
Well, we
reproduce.
accept that.
Fashion science.
No, we
What
accept
are
You
you
want me
doing?
to answer things?
This is a straw man argument.
This
What
is-
are you
this
talking
is-
about?
Straw man argument.
You just said a tree doesn't cause when an apple grows. Now you're trying to prove to us a tree grows decides
I'm
when an apple
trying
grows.
to tell you, we do not know exactly if trees
Well,
have
you just
any
said it
kind
doesn't.
of consciousness.
Well, you just said it
trees
doesn't.
don't have the same kind of consciousness that we
Well,
have.
you just said it
That's-
doesn't.
For someone who talks
Yeah,
about
it doesn't have
probability,
our
Yeah.
consciousness.
this is bizarre.
Trees don't have our
You just
consciousness.
does a tree decide when it grows an apple?
Does it decide where it grows
When
an
it
apple?
grows an apple.
When it grows an apple.
Yeah.
There's a specific season when trees
does it
let
decide?
Does it
apples
decide?
go right.
Does it decide?
Does the tree decide? It doesn't have free will to decide it, but there's a natural
Right.
process by which the tree
Right.
has a certain
Right.
certain period
So it doesn't
in the
decide.
year. It doesn't decide the same way you do, or I
Right.
do.
How do you know that?
Because it doesn't have the kind of self-perception
So what are you
that we
looking for
do.
now, then?
Huh?
What are you looking for now?
I'm looking for the.
To prove the self-perception.
No, I'm looking for.
Please, away.
No. I'm looking for
Please.
one word. For one word,
Oh.
which means the automatic reaction to pain.
Who cares?
No, but we accept that. It's their
I
science.
care.
Nociception.
But we're not talking about
No.
this.
Oh, thank you, my man. You know about it. That's
Well, no,
exactly. I forgot about the word.
Yeah, but we're not talking about
Nociception. That's exactly the
Yeah, but
word.
who is challenging that notion here? No one.
Because you're saying the tree isn't conscious. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying
good.
there is a kind of consciousness.
No,
there
I'm
is
gonna say-
nociception.
I'm agreeing with you, but I'm not agreeing with you.
What we're saying.
The tree, when you cut the tree, it will release.
We're not
the
talking about
juice.
cutting trees. Relax.
It's the principle.
Do you
Pablo,
understand?
It's the principle.
Look, you have a mechanical cause and you have conscious cause. There's two types of causes. There's one where the effect exists because the cause exists.
Mechanical is nociception, for example.
No, listen.
Yes.
It's not conscious.
All right, I mean,
but there is a reaction.
No,
Yeah.
Listen. Layman terms. A mechanical cause, a mechanical effect is caused by the existence of the cause. Yeah?
A mechanical effect.
Exists
Exists
because of the
existence
existence of the cause. Yeah, by
Alright.
necessity.
All right.
The tree exists, the apple has to
Yes,
exist.
okay.
All right. A conscious cause, the effect, the effect doesn't have to be the effect of something just because the cause exists.
I assume so.
Well, the apple crumble example was that if just because Hamza exists,
If I didn't
it doesn't
ever make
mean-
that apple crumble, it
doesn't
would never
mean-
exist,
doesn't
would
mean
it?
that-
Yes,
right,
yes.
right.
It only exists because I decided to make
Yeah,
it
you
exist.
made it consciously. Yeah, fair
Right.
enough.
Now we'll go back to the cause of the universe. If the universe is if the cause of the what was the point we making about the universe? About being eternal. That
Yeah.
was it about being eternal?
No, the cause of the universe.
Has consciousness.
Being
Oh yeah,
conscious,
conscious. Yeah.
conscious.
So now what we're saying is the cause of the universe is not a mechanical cause; it's a conscious cause. Because if it was mechanical, that would mean the universe would exist at the same length of time as the cause. Yeah? And because we know that the universe is finite and the cause has to be infinite, then therefore the cause of the universe has to be a conscious cause, not a mechanical cause. Right? So I believe then this cause of the universe is
You
conscious.
still can't prove the consciousness of the cause of the universe.
I've just done it.
You didn't ask for proof. You asked for balance of
You're
probability.
comparing the universe to an apple crumble.
No, I'm applying the principle of mechanical and conscious causes.
Yeah, but look, just because the apple crumble, the specific example of the
No,
apple
no.
crumble is a conscious cause, doesn't mean the universe is
All right,
also
do you believe
a
the
conscious
uni-
cause.
All right, do you believe the
making
cause
a
of the universe is
fallacy.
mechanical?
But the cause of the universe is mechanical.
Do you understand if
it's
the
possible
cause-
that it might be?
Then that
Like I
would-
said,
but that would
nociception
mean-
is done by
But
a
that would
living
mean,
being,
but
and
that
it's
would
still kind of
mean,
mechanical.
but that would mean the universe would have to then be eternal. It can't have a beginning.
Not
You go back into the
Well, it have to
regression.
be.
You go back into the infrago
You
regression.
can't have a cause that's infinite and an effect that's finite and say it's mechanical.
Why not?
Because a
No,
mechanical
deception is finite.
no.
Just like a
These are
conscious
two-
cause.
so it's not an
Just
infinite
like
effect.
me
A
making
mechanical
the,
cause.
the
If
apple
it was a
crumble.
mechanical cause, the effect should be the same time age as the cause.
I honestly don't know where you're going with this. From now on, I'm just going
Yeah,
to say
don't-
yes.
don't think
to
about where
get
he's
to the
going, just
point
hear
where
the
you're
argument.
trying to
Yeah,
say.
why is he trying to look where I'm
Just
going?
move
Because
forward
I
with
want
the
to
argument.
understand what you're trying
Okay,
to
well,
do.
well, listen to what I'm saying
What's your
rather than where I'm
reason?
going, innit?
I want to see the reason behind your thinking.
He's trying
okay.
to
You're
do
going
it.
around the place
No, I'm
and around
not.
the place,
I'm
and
a
you're
stab-
asking me questions I cannot answer.
Listen,
Cannot
what
answer
question
how the
did I
universe
ask you that you
began,
couldn't
man.
answer?
What do you expect?
Which question did I ask that you couldn't answer?
About the
young man.
beginning of the universe.
No, we've got past that.
Answer
We got
about
past
it.
that.
Yeah, we got past it because I couldn't answer it.
No,
And you
no,
can't answer
no.
it. Nobody can answer it.
We established that if the universe had a beginning, it requires a
Accepted it as
cause.
a possibility.
All right, and then we've established if it had a cause, that cause has to be uncaused, or we have infinite regression, and we never have a universe. We've established this. Why are we going back again?
Okay, how does this link in any way
I'll
to
explain
your
it to you.
faith?
Well, I'm telling you. But you're not listening. Every time I say something, you're challenging it. So I'll say it again to you. I believe the cause of the universe has to be a conscious cause. Has to be, by necessity. Otherwise, the universe would need to be infinite.
And because the universe isn't infinite, it has to be conscious. It's very logical. It's either
It's not logical
Of
at all.
course
either
it's
left
logical.
or right.
Something unconscious can be finite.
We didn't say unconscious. Look, if
Something unconscious can
do you
be
un-
finite,
no,
man.
listen,
You deny that?
what?
Something unconscious can be
No,
finite.
we just said the cause has to be
You know,
uncaused.
you're actually both agreeing. You both agree.
no, but
Just
what,
hear
he,
what he's saying.
no, but what he's done now, you see, he's rolled back again.
Let Imran clarify.
He's rolled back now because now he's saying the
No,
cause.
you're saying that because the universe had a cause and effect, had a beginner, like a cause, a first cause that didn't have a previous cause, that it needs to be conscious. That's a fallacy.
No.
It doesn't necessarily
Why is that
need to
fallacy?
be.
Which fallacy is it?
Which fallacy it
Yeah.
is, dude? You're telling me you're giving a false cause to the effect.
Why?
You're applying a false condition.
I'm saying to you, if you're
You're
saying,
saying, listen, you're saying it
do you
has to be
agree the
conscious.
universe is finite?
Okay, let's agree that
No,
it's
do
finite,
you
whatever.
agree?
I don't know for certain, but let's say yes.
All right.
Let's say it's
Do you
finite,
agree the
yeah.
cause of the universe is infinite?
The cause of the universe? Okay, let's say it's not infinite.
It is or not?
It's not.
It's not infinite. It's
Okay,
finite.
let's say it's not.
Oh, okay,
infinite.
so it requires a cause then.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, we've just already
requires-
discussed that that's infinite regression again. Now we've got infinite regression again. We've already gone past that. So now you've gone back
so,
on what you
okay,
said.
so there is one cause that doesn't have a previous cause, even though you can't actually prove
Right,
it.
well then we'd apply
It still doesn't mean that it has to be
Okay,
conscious.
but then we'd apply Occam's razor and we'd reduce it to one cause. We don't have to go through all these causes. And then so we get to our uncaused cause again, and if it's uncaused, it's infinite.
No.
It's always existed.
If it's still caused, then it's infinite.
No, if it's
an
uncaused-
uncaused
If it's
cause.
uncaused,
There's a
Okay,
language.
look,
there's a
if
language
something
there.
is uncaused,
You are making infinity fight with infinity.
No, I'm saying to
infinity
you,
of infinite
do you
regression
accept? Do you
with the
accept?
infinity
Do you
of
accept?
uncaused
Do you
cause.
accept? If something is uncaused, then it's always
Can I
existed.
explain the difference here? So he's not saying what he's not saying is that there is infinite regression and an infinite.
Sorry, I can't hear you too
He's
well.
not saying that there's an infinite regression and an infinite uncaused cause. He's saying there cannot be infinite regression. Therefore, there is an
cause
infinite
has to be uncaused.
uncaused
So are you
cause.
saying that the uncaused cause is infinite?
Has to be
Has to be
necessarily.
by necessity. By
Because we're here,
infinite, I
because we're
mean,
here.
Infinite regression is infinite.
Can I? No.
You're saying that infinite regression can't
you
be
missed-
because
here's what
it's
we're saying.
infinite.
Let me explain what
so
we're saying.
uncaused cause in infinite.
Let me explain what
is
we're saying.
infinite.
Let me explain what we're
You're
saying.
committing-
You're
Let me
missing.
explain what I'm
Makes no
saying.
sense.
Let me
It's
explain what I'm
logically-
saying.
You're not
Let me
hearing
explain what I'm
that.
saying to you. If something is uncaused, what does that mean?
It doesn't have a previous.
Or what does that mean?
It's infinite.
It doesn't
That's
have a
the first
beginning.
thing.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have a beginning. What does that mean?
It's infinity.
It can look. It can have a beginning if nothing else existed before.
So it's infinite. So it's infinite then.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
That's the point.
So it's
right.
not any different.
No,
from
no,
the-
no, no. But,
from
but
the
no, no, no. But
infinite,
here's the problem. You see.
regression.
So if your cause is infinite, yeah. If the
getting
effect is not infinite, then it's conscious because it's decided when to do what it's done. No.
Okay, so wait. I'll catch you up on that. So if the cause is infinite
Yes.
and the effect is finite,
Yes.
where is the effect? If it's finite, it takes part of the infinity,
What?
and
Whoa,
infinity
whoa, whoa,
becomes
whoa, whoa, whoa,
finite.
whoa,
Sorry,
whoa,
Hatun,
whoa,
you're
whoa.
standing in front of the
Infinity
camera.
needs to become finite
You
to
can
give
move to one
shape
side,
to
please.
something finite.
Thank
No,
you,
no, no,
Hatun.
no, no, listen. Relax. If something is infinite, if a cause is infinite and its effect is finite, it cannot be a mechanical cause. For a mechanical cause, the effect has to exist.
No,
because
that's
the
just
cause
Something
that's
is
just a law.
infinite and the
No,
effect is
listen,
finite.
no.
That something stops being infinite.
no, it
because
means-
it gives shape to a
No.
finite thing.
No.
Yes.
no,
When he
no.
makes the apple crumble, does it take anything from?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you understand?
Exactly. Just what she said. If something infinite gives shape to something finite, how do you see the finite thing? How does it exist?
about?
Sorry, we're talking
It
about.
needs to exist somewhere.
What are you about?
Well, she's a Christian, so if
The
you're
universe
gonna,
exists. Can you not
if you're
see
going to
the
listen to
universe?
her, she believes in God anyway.
Listen, Pavlov.
I
Listen.
can agree with people who
Listen,
believe
the
in the
finite,
No, I'm just saying,
Listen,
she-
have you forgotten?
I
the
think
fi-
she does believe
one second,
in
one
God,
second.
doesn't she? Does
Have you forgotten the finite thing we're talking about is the universe?
So the universe is finite,
Well, we've agreed that, yes.
and the creator is infinite.
Yes.
So where is the universe?
We're living in it.
Yeah, but where is it? If it's finite, it needs to fit somewhere.
This,
You see,
It's a- no, no,
there
it's-
are
it's an
some
interesting-
questions
it's
you
an
cannot
interesting
answer.
question. It's
Oh,
no,
oh,
it's an
no,
interesting
no, no,
question.
no, no.
Let Emrah answer that. Let
It's an
Emrah
interesting
Where
question.
does it fit? If it's finite and the God
We
is
can, you can come to
infinite,
that. You can come to the where's and whys and whats. Let's establish the principle.
I think we should. This is a thunderstorm now. I think we need to.
No, let's just establish this one thing.
I think you should.
What I'm
We
saying
should have a time to talk about this where it's not raining. and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
We can maybe continue this discussion.
Yeah,
He's always here anyway.
He's always here.
Yeah,
Controlling the park. It was nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. Good conversation.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care, yeah.
Have a good night.
Good
We
night.
haven't done any hatchet jobs today.
Bye,
you know that?
Hatun.
Should we do on this one?
Subhanallah, man. I think now it's definitely
3
time.
months? How are you?
Hamza, quickly, let's go. Come on. Assalamu. Yeah, very quickly,
Okay,
please.
very quickly. That what?
Of all the people. Seriously.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Bring Maghrib, go quick.
We're going to come join them.
Oh,
Just outside the gate, yeah?
Okay, sure.
Okay, very, very quickly. That was Pavlov, kind of atheist, agnostic troll of the park. To be honest with you, to be honest with you, he was asking about religion and why we believe Allah is the true creator and such. But to be honest with you, everything he was asking us was based on false assumptions. So we had to take him back to belief, and then we had to take him back to infinite regression. SubhanAllah, you guys need to watch our videos. We shouldn't need to keep repeating this. It's very, very simple things. These are not subjectives, these are not opinions, these are facts, and these are objective facts. So, we believe the cause of the universe is uncaused, therefore it chose to cause, and it must be powerful and must be intelligent. That's where we started from, and from there, it's very simple. We have a man called Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam who claimed to be a messenger of this cause, proved he was a messenger of this cause, which then gives shape to the cause, and that's how we come to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. Training! Assalamu alaikum.
I went to the car, I just needed help.